Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the City of Farmers Branch Study Session meeting. It is Tuesday, January 18, 2022. The time is 4 p.m. We will, first off, Councilmember Rotana will not be joining us today. She is traveling back from vacation, so wish her safe travels in her journey back home to the sweet town of Farmers Branch. But we will start with A1, discuss regular agenda items. The only one I think that we should probably talk about around this table before we get to the consent agenda in our regular meeting is the appointment of the Sustainability Committee. My thoughts looking at the list and knowing the history of that committee, my recommendation would be Lisa Massey. She's been heavily involved, not only before, but currently, and I know she's very passionate about it, and I know that Councilmember Rotana, she expressed that same sentiment to me earlier today as well, and so I just wanted to share that, with you all as you weigh your consideration, but we can go around the table and try to get an idea of who we think we might want to put in that list as we look to approve the consent agenda tonight. Start with you, Councilmember Williams.
My recommendation would be Lisa as well. So she reached out to me this summer and expressed her interest. She is very passionate about that committee in particular. Unfortunately, she had submitted her application in March before we had before we brought that commission back on board. And so I know she was disappointed not to have gotten the chance to put her name forth at that time. And so I know that she has attended every single one of the meetings that they've had except for one. I think she's an excellent recommendation for that board. So I think she'd be a great asset.
Councilmember Lynn.
The chair of the committee recommended her, and I will support his recommendation.
Perfect. Councilmember Merritt.
Similar to Mr. Lynn, Chairman reached out and recommended Ms. Massey, and so having the same background as you just described, participation, I think that's a valid and worthy recommendation.
Councilmember Driscoll.
She's at the top of my list as well.
Perfect. Sounds like it's settled.
Yeah.
Okay, Mayor, we'll update the consent agenda item so you don't have to take it off.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, Councilmember Williams, do you have any other items on this lengthy agenda?
Not on this agenda.
Councilmember Lynn. Councilmember Merritt.
Nothing today, thank you.
Councilmember Driscoll.
I'm good today, thank you.
All right, well then we will get to A2, receive a presentation on the sustainability plan.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Alex Formakis, Sustainability Manager. I'm here to provide an overview of the sustainability plan that we've been working on as requested in the 2021 strategic plan. So for context, I'll start with the timeline. So early last year, kind of when I first started on, we began researching what Farmers Branch has done, just researching kind of what aligned with sustainability in other plans, speaking with department directors and looking at what peer cities are also doing in sustainability. So with that research, began writing the first draft, and around that same time, the council reestablished the Sustainability Committee. So once those members were selected, starting in August, we began meeting, and a big shout out to the committee. They dove headfirst into learning everything that Farmers Branch was doing. We had pretty diverse backgrounds, familiarity levels with sustainability. They were really willing to learn and kind of provide their input and help refine this plan into what is presented to you today. So month after month, they provided their edits, review, additions, deletions, until November, when they unanimously approved the document for public comment. Between our November and December meetings, we had the public comment period that was where it's posted online, pushed out in the branch bulletin, social media, and we also had it in person at 2 city facilities, at City Hall and at the library. So if someone didn't have internet access, they could do pen and paper comments, have a printed copy of the draft right there. So we got limited comments, but those were included in your packet. I think they're overall very constructive. And hopefully, as we continue to move forward with some of the actions in the plan, we can continue to solicit public comment. And then, so after that, our committee reviewed the minor changes that were made from the public comment and approved this document for your consideration. So getting into the meat of the document, it's essentially a sustainability to-do list for the next 3 to 5 years. Our attempt was to be as concise as possible. There's a lot of 100-page sustainability plans of other cities that no one wants to read. Our hope is that someone will want to read this. And it just takes note that this is Farmers Branch's first sustainability plan, so it's foundational in nature. Within the plan, there's focus areas, there's goals. We have some recommended actions that will help achieve these goals, and metrics that will measure the progress so we can measure success as we move forward. Within the actions, there are actions that specifically focus on our municipal operations, so us as a city, but there's also actions that will involve the community, our residents, our businesses, and so kind of building on what we've already done, just that leadership by example. So the city's not asking residents or businesses to do something that we wouldn't be working on ourselves. And this is a roadmap. This sustainability plan is built with some flexibility, and so any larger actions that will come out of this plan be reviewed. We'll have more input, public input opportunities, time for discussion and voting by council. So within the document presented, there's 6 focus areas. We have the built environment. This is kind of our buildings, our infrastructure, transportation, kind of reducing pollution and congestion associated with getting around Farmers Branch. Natural resources, this is our conservation, environmental stewardship, zero waste, reducing the amount of waste that we create, finding ways to divert it from our landfill. It also touches with economic wellness and resilience, so we want to make sure that everything that we're doing is, fiscally sound, benefiting our economy and making it resilient, and community vitality, and that's the people in Farmers Branch. This is making sure that the actions that we take, we think about our people, and we want to make Farmers Branch desirable to live, both present and moving into the future. And within that structure, these focus areas, I mentioned most of them have goals associated with them, recommended actions to help achieve those goals, and then ways that we can measure our progress. And so really what we're doing with this plan is kind of taking it back to the basics of sustainability. We're really working to find that sweet spot between people, environmental systems, and economic systems. And when we kind of hit that balance, that's when we're making strides to be a more sustainable community. So I have a little example here, a graphic that's also included in the plan. But let's say we have a program that's going to increase energy efficiency for a homeowner or for homeowners. We know there's an environmental benefit with being more efficient because you're not burning as much natural gas, you're using less electricity, you're reducing the pollution that's associated with that. There's economic benefits for that resident. They're lowering their energy bills, increasing their home marketability, and there's social benefits. It all comes back to benefiting the people. So reducing utility burden, the percentage of your income that you're paying towards your utilities, improving your thermal comfort, your health. And so that's just an example. As we go through all these recommended actions in the plan and work to achieve these goals, we want to make sure we're considering all 3 of those, that wide range of the spectrum of sustainability. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Alex, thank you very much for the presentation, and also thank you to the Sustainability Committee for taking this on as kind of their first challenge as well. I know it's a continuation and conversation in the past, but taking it from where it was to where it is now is just a great benefit to us as we plan for the future of the city. Before I get to council member questions, Mr. Ragel, is there anything that you want to say as part of this? Because I know you kind of head up the Sustainability Committee and have been a part of this process recently.
Well, I tell the mayor and the council that we're going to be better than the
I'll leave my comments there on that one. But, okay. With that, we'll go around the room. Councilmember Driscoll, anything you want to add? Any questions?
I don't have any questions at this time. I'd just like to commend you and also the newly appointed Sustainability Committee. I think this is a very impressive body of work, particularly given that, we just formed the group recently. It's a very nice, comprehensive study, and I think it's very well done. And look forward to hearing more about it as we get into our off-sites and things coming up.
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Merritt.
Yes, once again, I'll echo Councilman Driscoll. appreciate the work, Alex, and the committee that's here. I followed the first draft. I like the reorientation of the layout. Let's be.
My Microsoft Word didn't do it for you.
It was actually pretty good to begin with, but I certainly like the reorientation. Really interested, as Councilman Driscoll said, as we move forward to the action plans and setting up metrics. That's a real passion in my area from my experience in the workforce. So look forward to those type of discussions in the future. But thank you so much.
Councilmember Lynn.
Thank you. I had a couple of general comments. One related to vehicle emissions, because whenever you start talking about vehicle emissions, you know, the state regulates that as well as the federal government. And I don't know that, I didn't see anything in here that indicated that we were going to have higher standards in Farmers Branch for vehicle emissions. We can't do that. But anytime you talk about that, people get a little on edge. So that's number one. So there's an education component that goes along with all of this.
Very
And I
much
know
so.
you'll get there. The second, and sort of along similar lines, is the reduction of water use by residents. We shouldn't be trying to create sustainable plan by charging everybody so much that they're not going to use water. You know, we live in Texas. People have yards. They're going to water their yards or put water in their pool and things of that nature. It's important that we do try to conserve our resources as much as we can because it's not getting any cheaper for any of us to do these things. But I don't want the tactic by the city to say, well, we're just going to raise water rates, and that'll force people to use less water, because I don't think that's the right way to go. I didn't see that indicated in
No.
here, but it's sort of like the lowest common denominator. You could always do that to try to have that effect. So, but from what I read, it looked like we're heading in a different direction and more from an educational standpoint, and I think that's going to be really important.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're trying to bring people along instead of,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Just a couple of comments. I appreciate the fact that it was only 18 pages long. I think that makes that very easy to present to the public and to get public buy-in. I didn't see anything about us, you know, that's what I appreciate about this plan is the fact that you took the economic impact on citizens into the equation. And so I didn't see anything about there being a water rate increase. So, so I'm not real sure where that came from,
Hadn't come
Member
yet.
Land. Because they are planning on, you know, I think that's the whole point of your plan is that you bring in all three facets of sustainability. It's not just environmental sustainability, but it's economic sustainability, it's community sustainability. And I really appreciate that overall approach to it. I appreciate the fact that this is a foundational document. So this just is this is laying our groundwork so that we can start building in those actions. And speaking back to where we, you know, what we talked about during our board and commissions luncheon, I think where it's going to be really impactful is to start seeing this sustainability committee interact with our other boards and commissions because it affects so many of those other places. And so to have that collaborative integration in our boards and commissions, I think is going to be really impactful. And having these goals set, I think that'll make it real clear as to, you know, what's our path, where do we go from here? So I think this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Just, you know, some final comments on that. I think, you know, listening to council's point of view on this and some of the opportunities that are in front of us, as well as some of the challenges, you know, some of the benefits is coming up very soon, our conversations that center around a lot of the points within this plan that allow us to hopefully help guide and provide more framework for how are we going to execute on a lot of these things. So it couldn't be more timely that we're hearing this now. But I do want to thank you for your efforts on this and finally putting it in front of us. I know it's something we've been wanting to see for quite some time now. And so now the onus is on us to put this plan to work, provide policy that guides that and hopefully allows for the change that we're all looking for in this community.
Sounds great.
So
And as a reminder, this is set up for,
February.
we plan to have it set up for the first meeting in February. Okay, good.
Cool. All right. Is there any other conversation points at this time? All right. If not, we'll go to A3, receive an annual report from the Animal Services Advisory Committee regarding shelter operations at the Farmers Branch Animal Adoption Center. Ms. Fisher. Ms. Fisher. Ms. Fisher, the floor is all yours.
Pardon?
The floor is all yours.
I need some assistance.
Oh.
So this is, do you know who loaded this? Might be. Let's see. Let's see, it could be here. Sustainability.
Oh, there, no,
No, I don't see it here. Do you know who you asked to load it? Did you send it to someone who loaded it in there?
I don't know who Sarah was working. None of the people that could be here are here today.
Oh,
So Shane's not here, Sarah's
Okay.
not feeling well.
So who did you send it to? Do you know who? how was it?
I assumed this was all done. I was just asked to present
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Do we know? I don't know who.
Any idea?
What are we looking for?
We have it as part of, we have it as part of our,
Well, I can do that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're going to take a second to pull this up. Can we go to the next and we can
Yeah.
come back?
Yeah. All right. We're going to skip on.
That's all sustainability.
I can just
Horticulture?
do it off my notes.
Does everyone have the,
we have the presentation.
Oh, do you?
And I legislate, we have the presentation.
Okay.
I don't know who might
That's
have
okay.
loaded this.
They have this in front of them, so
Okay,
that's,
okay.
the audience will just have to go along.
can we screen share?
Okay, she's gonna load it, Amy's gonna load it in, so she's got it.
It's like I can go drive from back here if
She's
needed.
gonna put it in. I apologize.
You just know this all happens somehow.
Yeah.
And I just show
Just
up.
happens by magic.
Yes.
But then it shouldn't be a talking point.
It's going to take her just a second to pull it. move it.
Amy saves the day.
No, we got time.
That's just rearing people up for no reason. That's not the presentation.
Are you putting it in the P drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Water rates, just to get people to stop
Those
using.
are,
Hear what I'm saying.
oh, I heard you. I heard you loud and clear. Everyone did. And that's just a rounding point. And there's no point in doing that.
That's not what
It's
I was
disruptive
trying
to our
do.
presentation.
That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm telling you,
She's loading
you
it.
misconstrued what I was saying. Okay? So I'm not trying to get anybody.
And then there's Ben. I didn't see him.
We got you.
Because none of
Somebody's
that,
here for
none
me.
of that was.
Oh,
in the
now it's there,
presentation.
okay.
So there shouldn't have been discussion about us
slideshow
raising
view.
rates if that wasn't part of the discussion.
Okay.
It's not always.
It just popped
It's not always. It was not.
It wasn't
Perfect.
in the report.
It's in a
always-
PDF,
We
so
need
it's
to
a little
table
bit
this.
different.
We need to table this.
There you go.
We can fight over it at dinner.
Oh, that's how you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Change to
it's,
one.
it's in a PDF, and so,
We'll have forks and knives. in
Yes.
there.
Knives out. Great move.
Those are always plastic.
yeah, you're just gonna wanna,
What can you do
you
with
can do that,
plastic?
or that one, because it's in a PDF. I
We'll
don't have
leave
the
it at that.
PowerPoint
We'll
version.
just leave it
Oh,
at
okay.
that.
Perfect.
Good afternoon. Sorry for the,
No problem.
I'm not,
We've
I'm
all been
technologically challenged, I'll tell you that much. I'm Becky Fisher. I'm Chair of the Animal Services Advisory Board. Okay, it's just like it's on the screen. Okay, we're gonna. We'll be talking about the activities that the board has done in the last year, member changes, and the shelter metrics for 2021. Okay, we've been talking a lot about how to effectively manage the feral cat population in the branch. We really want to rev up the TNR program again, which is trap, neuter, and release. We also want to be able to use more of our local scout programs at the shelter. They've come in before and helped us with various tasks, and we want to encourage that again. We're also looking at ways to decrease the stray animals and the owner surrenders. This is heartbreaking for all of us that so many people are turning their pets in, or they're just putting them out and now they're strays. And it has overloaded the shelter at times through the year, but we've been able to keep everybody housed and fed until we can find them new homes. We also want to get more into the microchipping so that we get these strays microchipped. Well, hopefully they belong to somebody in the first place. If they were microchipped, we could have got them home sooner. But we did, oh, the notes are not on here. Yeah, our goal this year is to do 200 microchips in animals. Try to do them in a public environment for a cost of $10. Can't beat it. Okay, on our metrics. We transferred 17 animals into a rescue group when we were overcrowded, and some of those were TNRs. I'm not certain about that particular statistic. Cat adoptions were up by 60 from last year. Pet adoptions were up 21 from last year. The owner surrender has increased only by 10 over last year, but it's still a concern. We may try to find ways to help people keep their animals if there's any chance of doing that. The stray population is up by almost 100 from last year. We also, in the midst of all this, took in 23 animals from other rescue groups that either were overcrowded or just needed to find a place for them at that time. And we did do 80 microchips this year. But like I said, we want to get that up to 200 as soon as we can or throughout the year. The average length of stay has reduced considerably. Last year it was 16.9 days. We've got it down to almost a week, about 5 days. Cat population is about the same. The kittens, we had an overload of kittens this year, as we do every year. Another reason for the trap and neuter program. And the live release rate was 94% last year, and much of that was due to the amount of kittens that came in. Many of them, their mother was just no longer available to nurse them or whatever, and many failed to survive that situation. We had 2 new board members this year. We had a new shelter vet since Janie Hodges retired, and she does surgeries 1 day a week or as needed. And we have a new contract service for relief when we need it. There's a qualified contract labor company, RSVP, that we signed a contract with. So when we get over our heads with everything, they are able to come in. They're qualified and bonded and can handle anything that we need them to do. We also are going to be adding a new animal control officer. We've cast a wide net, but finding qualified applicants has been a challenge. But other than that, we're doing fairly well. Is there any questions on any of that?
Ms. Fisher, thank you for your presentation.
Pardon?
I said thank you for your presentation.
Oh, I forgot to go there.
Councilmember Williams, any questions?
I don't have any questions. It's been fun to watch you guys work. I follow you guys on the social media, and I know your kitten season was extra long this year, and so I appreciate everything that you guys do. So keep up the good work.
Councilmember Lynn?
No questions.
Councilmember Merritt?
Just to thank you and for your presentation, and then I'll throw out the $64,000 question. Is there anything that the Animal Shelter Board thinks that they would like to ask for? How's that? We'll put it in that regard. You don't have to answer right now, but perhaps if you think about that, you can reach back out and contact them. But if you have something, it'd be great.
Well, since you asked,
I did.
we do have a beautiful mobile trailer that we purchased when we were bequeathed those funds. We're not getting it out to live events as much as we would like. There's a lot of reasons for that. We, right now, are struggling with, we'd have to go out on a cash-only basis, and that would hinder some of that. But we really want to get, it's a great advertisement. We do have it out at events, so people see it, they know about it. We'd like to use it more for its intended purpose.
Very good.
Eventually.
Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
Councilmember Driscoll.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. You know, on the microchip program, that's a pretty ambitious goal to get to 200 this year. If you did 80 last year, how are you planning to achieve that?
Well, there's the issue. We're trying to get more people into the shelter to do it, or taking our mobile
Right,
storefront, maybe like down to Ace Hardware and things like we used to. It's just the payment options are really a challenge for us right now. Unless somebody's coming up with $10 cash, we wouldn't be able to help them.
right. And to get the mobile trailer out, do you need more volunteers or more staff hours or what? And I would say that I went to the Feliz Navidad event at the Bark Park, and Sarah was there with the trailer, and she was very busy, and I talked to her and spent some time with her at the end of the evening, and she was very pleased that she microchipped several dogs and had people come with their dogs that they didn't know they'd already been microchipped. And anyway, it was a very positive development, you know.
Yeah,
And is there a way we could somehow get more volunteers? And I was just thinking, given this location, maybe to reach out to some groups or a group at Brookhaven College. Anyone interested, you know, in animals or animal husbandry, or someone who wants to be a vet?
I've been pushing all along to get more to the intended use for that trailer. One of the things Sarah mentioned is it depends on the dog population at the time. Not all of them may get along with each other in those cages, or maybe they're too rambunctious to show to someone. And then there'd be the question, they really are not comfortable doing on-site adoptions. They try to do a little more into the prospective owner. Are they really, do they understand the responsibility of an animal? Are they able to provide the proper care?
Right. That could
and
be
all of
kind of
that,
an
so-
outreach educational facility, you know, and to have it at different events that we have in the city, and, you know, maybe tie in with some school events and things like that, just to have it on site to, you know, kind of get the education out there.
Yeah, we need more staff or volunteers, definitely, to do any of that. So,
That's all I have.
but the volunteer program's ramping up again,
Good,
so we can maybe make that better.
very good, thank you.
Ms. Evans-Jones.
I was just going to add, and thank you for mentioning the point about cash-only options. So I've had some conversations with the director of this department to kind of talk through ways that we can have a credit card option that is more mobile. All of our credit card options now are more fixed in the utility window downstairs or et cetera, and they're hardwired to computers. And so we just need to come up with an option hopefully through our existing credit card provider that enables mobile processing. So we're working through that. Hopefully coming soon.
Yay, thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
That answered one of my questions, was just making sure that, because there's lots of different options on how we can do that. Take credit card payments mobily. It's just a matter of working with your provider. And then the other thing that I might encourage the board to do, or encourage Sarah to do, is reach out to Turner High School's veterinarian program. If y'all are looking for volunteers, that is a robust program, and we just toured that a couple of weeks ago. And I know those kids are so passionate, so excited. about veterinarian technology that I think you could definitely find some volunteers through that avenue.
That's a great suggestion, and I don't know if she has already done that or not, but I'll bring it up again.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Next is receive a biannual update from the Arts and Culture Committee.
I was not told there'd be cute pet animals before me. I would have put my glamour shots in there. I apologize. Let's go. Sit down here. There we go. Boom. Oh, it started at the end. Let's stop that. All right, here we go. Okay, good day. I'm M. Scott Tatum, Chair of the Arts and Culture Committee, and I'm joined by my Vice Chair, Natalie Masaleo, over there in the corner. We're here to present our Citizens Committee biannual update. As a reminder, the Arts and Culture Committee has four big areas of purpose and authority: assisting City Council to establish a public arts and culture program, develop interest, awareness, and participation in public arts and culture in Farmers Branch, and recommend evolutions or changes to the public arts and culture program for the city, and as always, other duties as assigned, ways that we can help other programs, commissions, committees with our knowledge and expertise. Our committee is a new one, still establishing itself and its routines as we mature through our first couple years here. We hold our meetings monthly and encourage those board members who have yet to attend one of our meetings to please do so, and as any member of the public may do so. Busy artists and entrepreneurs make up our attendance rate of about 76%, and as we transition some of our first sets of members off of the committee to do other work, we've been intentionally focusing on bringing art-making residents onto the committee. Right now, all of the members of the committee, save just one, is an active visual or performing artist in or around Farmers Branch.
Awesome.
It is awesome, thank you. Whoever said that. Looking through our past couple years of projects, I'd like to draw your attention to 3 river sculpture in Mustang Station, the Lovelock sculpture in the Grove, the mural that we commissioned at the Firehouse Theater, as well as development of a Farmers Branch artist directory, and some nascent work doing cross-committee collaboration. We're also thankful for the granting of a dedicated staff liaison. Maria is awesome. $150K for public art, and know that our subcommittees who are in the middle of creating all their plans of work for this year with SMART goals will take full advantage of our existing and future positioning to further expand the success of arts and culture throughout Farmers Branch. Looking ahead, those plans of work will start to bring some of the blue sky work that we did all the way back in 2020 further into implementation stages. Some of the highlights of future projects include rolling out the West Side Art Trail plan. We are waiting for us to get out of a little bit of pandemic life to open up a Farmers Branch Artist Town Hall meeting. We have a tap dance festival in the works, and bringing public art to the Rawhide Park's power boxes from the lighting that they put in for evening time. There's these big power boxes that we're going to wrap, and continuing all of our various art contests that we have throughout the year. One big goal ahead includes establishing the Farmer Branch Arts District boundaries and beginning to bid out that brand identity and program concept for what it means to create, consume, and be surrounded by the arts in the heart of Farmers Branch.
Excuse me, Scott.
Did it not flip
Do you want to
through?
roll through the slides?
I love
so
that.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's cool. This is rehearsal.
You can touch on the
Great.
beauty one more time.
Y'all, any of y'all could have waved. Any of y'all. Okay. All right. So we went through the big 4. It's great. I'll do it all. It's cool. I was going fast anyway. So again, a reminder, big 4 areas: purpose and authority, assisting City Council establish public arts and culture program, develop interest, awareness, and participation in public arts and culture, recommend evolution or changes to the public arts and culture program for the city, and assist in other tasks where our expertise and knowledge would be of benefit. We hold our meetings monthly. We're really happy about that. We wish all of y'all would come through and check us out when you get a chance. We have a 76% attendance rate, and as we've transitioned some of our first sets of members off of the committee, we are intentionally bringing art-making residents onto the committee. And as I said, all of the members, save one, is an active visual or performing artist in or around Farmers Branch. All right. So we've had a pretty amazing couple of years. Draw your attention to the 3 River sculpture down in Mustang Station, the Lovelock sculpture in the Grove, the mural that we've commissioned for Firehouse Theater. It's going to get its shellacking pretty soon here once the weather warms up, as well as the development of a Farmers Branch artist directory, which has helped us recruit people for the committee. which has been really great. And then we've been reaching out to committees to do some cross-collaboration work. We're also thankful for that $150,000 as staff liaison. Again, shout out to Mary Minter, who's awesome. And know that our subcommittees who are in the middle of creating their plans of work for this year will take advantage of all that inertia that's already happening here. So here we go. Next up is our future here. We did a blue sky work back in 2020 that was sort of a echoing of the work that we already had done to establish the committee in the first place, and that is turning into these new plans of work for this year and forward, including the West Side Art Trail Plan, Farmers Branch Artist Town Hall meeting as soon as we can get folks together safely, a tap dance festival, bringing public art to the Rawhide Park Power Boxes, and continuing our various art contests, the Mayor's Arts Contest that we have. One big goal, of course, is establishing our Farmers Branch Arts District boundaries and all the pieces of that, including matching a nonprofit organization to work with it, a brand identity program concept, all that sort of good stuff. What does it mean to be in and around art in Farmers Branch? So that's the two version of that thing, the shorter and the longer version. And now you'll have time to ask some questions. We're really excited about what we're doing. We've done a lot in our first couple of years, and we're really energized by that possibility. So what you got? Let me hear what you have question-wise or comments.
Thanks for the presentation.
Of course,
And then
twice.
we'll, council, yeah. We had to reinforce it.
Yeah.
Just in case we missed it.
I work with middle school kids. That's a tangent.
Yeah. Councilmember Driscoll.
Yes, I don't really have any questions, but I'd just like to commend you on the work that the group is doing. And this is really very exciting, a lot of the projects. And when do you tentatively have the idea of the Tap Dance Festival?
That's good.
Intrigued
Well,
by that.
yes, the Tap Dance Festival, which we were going to do in the historic part, we want to do in the spring. I think we have it like April, May, right?
National Tap Dance
National
Day.
Tap Dance Day. So we're working that out. Of course, things ebb and flow. Artists are actually some of the most vaccinated crew in the country right now, and so they're also therefore more risk aware, and so they're thinking about that. So as we get hopefully away from our current level red in the county, we'll be able to tack down that date.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Councilmember Merritt.
Scott, thank you for the presentation. I've actually taken you up on that offer of attending one of the commission meetings, so thank you so much for hosting me that night. I'm excited about the opportunities that you're bringing forward, and I'll throw out that question that I asked the prior chair. Is there anything else that you'd like to see the council bring to or make available to the Arts and Commission?
Yes, that's a long list, but the short version, but it's a temporally long list too, right?
Sure.
So it's not just immediate. So we're working on our plans of work, so I'll have a really good thing there. I think the main thing that you're going to see asks from this committee is really sort of stamping this work into sort of what does it mean at the city code level, right? Like how do we incentivize art making in the city? What does it mean on how we support resident artists? And what does it mean to have it systematized within the staffing structure of the city? So it doesn't remain pursuits of passion alone.
Very good. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Lynn.
Thank you. Just an observation, and it's a good one. So yesterday, when I was at Starbucks, right over here, and I was looking down the street because something else caught my eye, and you know, you could still see the mural. The mural's great. I don't know who did it, but whoever did it did a really nice job. It looks really pretty, and it stands out. So I'm definitely on board with that. But what caught my eye when I was looking to the east was how bad the tire store, the western wall of the tire store looked. Charles, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay. Peeling paint everywhere and whatnot. And it's like, okay, we've got this really cool looking mural here, and then we've got this not so good looking building that has a painted side. That doesn't have anything to do with you, but I keep thinking about that. And when you showed the picture of the theater there and had the mural in the first or second slide, it just triggered that in my mind. So, you know, obviously that's another department to address that situation, but I'm I'm excited about what you're doing.
It's always great to bring up opportunities.
Am I allowed to respond on? Yeah, murals are contagious. That's the reality of public art making.
Well, something so nice makes something not so nice even stand out more
Absolutely.
from the negative.
And those become great opportunities to work with private businesses and other organizations and look at, I know y'all have visited ordinance land in this realm before, but it creates opportunity. So when you go to some of the great cities, public art cities around the world, murals are what you find everywhere. You turn corners and there's mural, mural, mural. And what it does typically do is that it encourages that even things that we wouldn't consider as like aesthetic murals, sign making, to take a next step up too. And it kind of happens naturally, but it can also happen with support.
So that is a topic that we've had a lot of discussion on this council, well, prior council, more so. And I don't know, we had no resolution at that time to allow for murals on buildings, you know. And I've been asked several times, for example, Eagle Gun Range. They have a big open side, so if you're traveling north on Midway Road, you can see the whole side of the building and possibly doing some type of Western scene there, but they can't have their name on it because then it becomes advertisement. So it's sort of like counterintuitive, if you will, that we would allow some buildings to do this, but then they can't include their name of the actual business that's there. So that might be something to think about.
Yeah, the
and just get
curiosities of the law are
Yeah.
interesting to all of us, I'm sure. Yeah, I think there's probably some sister cities to look at and see how they're handling similar conversations.
Sure.
And that probably could give some guidance.
It'll be a conversation sooner rather than later, I promise you that. But you can definitely see Eagle Gun Range's sign from a mile away. So
Well, I
I don't think that's
understand
going to be a problem if they had a mural.
But that's on the front. He's got a whole side of the building that he cannot use to advertise his business. So, and that's just one example. So, thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
You know, this board is near and dear to my heart, my family's heart, for sure. And so the only thing that I would add is, again, just like with our previous boards, the more collaboration that we can do between boards and including our school district. My husband is a teacher at Turner in their arts department. That is a robust, and they're always looking for projects, and they're always looking for ways to be more collaborative with the arts department. And so I would just encourage you guys, anytime that you can reach out to those kids. They're super excited. They're doing so many fun things, and I know that they'd love to work with you guys more. And I know y'all have got several things in the works. So,
Yeah.
but I'm excited to see all of that.
Great. Have you met Dawn, one of our
Yeah.
committee members?
Yeah.
She's great.
Yep, for sure.
Mr. Tatum, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is discuss future agenda items. Councilmember Williams.
I have no future agenda items at this
Councilmember
time.
Lynn.
So one, it's been on the future agenda list for some time, and that was the boats, campers, and RVs. And I think it was the end of November, I mentioned that we were at a point where I was ready to try to have additional discussion on that, just from the study session standpoint, and wanted to try to do that in January, since we've had people coming and that have spoken, including former council members, that have spoken to us during citizen comment. And that's not happening in January. Do you have an idea of when it might happen?
I don't have an idea at this date, but it is on a future agenda, and I will make sure that you are the first to know when that's coming, just so you
Well-
have enough time to prep. And we can't talk about it now. I'm just telling you,
No, I
it will be
understand.
on a future agenda.
Do you think it'll be before May or after May?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. I'd like to leave it
Okay.
up in the air.
Then I would suggest that we.
It's on
try-
future.
I would suggest that we try to move that up sooner rather than later.
I will take your suggestion into
Thank you.
consideration. Councilmember Merritt.
I don't have anything at this time. I look forward to the strategic planning session we have on the 26th, and obviously prior to that on the 22nd, when we meet with planning and zoning and have our joint meeting. I think those are the big items in my site at the moment, so I'm excited about those. So I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay. Councilmember Driscoll.
I have a couple of ideas, but I want to hold off on those because we have such a full agenda coming up here in January and February with the various off-sites and the strategic meeting and joint meeting with P and Z and the field trip. But as you know, my future items are really my past items from last year. So, and I know we're going to get to those, so I'm excited about that. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, with nothing else to discuss before the regular meeting, I will adjourn our study session at 4:45 and see you all back downstairs for our meeting.